It's time to go beyond plus ultra for Boku no Hero Academia.
It's minus Artlu, my man. This episode is all the minus Artlu.
Very minus art low. Cause yeah, the villains. This is a very villain
Do you
forward
want to give me
episode.
some points? Want to give me some points here? I think I called it almost exactly.
Can you refresh my memory on what you called?
Kurogiri would get free, but the crowd would turn over to the heroes.
Alright. Just hold on. Hold on. Just a second. Just a second. Let me get my points.
I know we were discussing it at the end of the last episode, but I'm pretty sure that's almost exactly what I said would happen.
Hopefully the mic is picking up my rattling coin can.
I'm not. There it is. I hear it.
There you go.
Thank you. Oh, adding it to the point thrown. Ooh, I think I might have stabbed myself a little bit on that one. Ooh. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, hey, look, I got an extra dollar bill out of that one.
Oh.
So, we pick up literally almost right where we left off. Just where Spinner's giving off his little, I feel so bad for me. I had a bad life.
Yeah. Everybody's rushing into the hospital, but oh shit, the doctors, they're here.
As soon as they see them, all of the shit Shoji was talking about literally hits them in the back of the head again. Of like, oh fuck.
And the one guy with the bat just like drops it and is like, oh shit, I can't fight these doctors. They're completely innocent.
Well, you also see a flashback at one point, and I don't know if this is like this dude personally or if it's the idea of like a collective or whatever of like the doctors taking care of. I'm going to guess if it's the pig man here, right? I'm going to guess it's like a relative of his where the doctor is taking care of him, and it just like hits him of like just oh fuck. These are kind people that I might actually have like a direct connection with, that I'm literally holding a bat to beat their brains in with. This ain't right. And then we cut to the opening. Yay!
And then we have Spinner running down the halls, juxtaposed with like young Spinner, and how it's like, hey, Shigeyashi is the only one who I can believe in. I'm going to help Shigeyashi.
See, this is the part where I'm like a little dissociating a little bit, I guess is the word I'm trying to look for here, where I'm like, wasn't the one that inspired him Stain? Wasn't Spinner's whole thing from the start the idea of Stain was the one that inspired him?
Right, and not
That's why his
Shigeyashi.
costume, that's why his costume looks like Stain. It's a direct inspiration. He's lost the plot. He's blinded by whatever you want to call this shining star that is Shigaraki. I thought, as we were seeing this, that we might actually see Stain confront him. I thought that would be a really cool way to bring that whole idea back around. Doesn't happen. I wish it did happen. But, like, I don't know what justification they would need to get Stain to actually show up in a hospital like this. But at the same time, I feel like from the story standpoint, that's something that should have happened. Like, Spinner should have met Stain at some point. As far as I know, by the end of this episode, Spinner's fucking dead. I don't know. Maybe he's alive? Not sure. Considering he has 3 quirks, he's probably not going to live long.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have the whole like, oh man, Shigaraki's my friend. But like, it's a false friendship because that really doesn't seem real.
I
Like,
don't know in what capacity, but I'm going to say Stain will pop up at some point?
I mean, I feel like he should. It's just a matter of where and why. Because I'm not sure, like, he's on the loose. That much is for sure. We saw him in the last season talking to All for One, or what? Sorry, One for All. Fucking All Might. God damn it, I can't. My brain's failing me right now. We saw him talking to All Might at one point in the last season. After that, we have no idea where he went. All we know is he's still around somewhere. We do get to see, like, I think a little glint of him drawing his blade in the opening, so I think he's going to show up here. I just don't know when or where.
For one episode or longer?
I have no idea. Like I said, the only hint we get to see is in the opening, and it's just like that like really shattered ass jagged blade of his being drawn. I don't even think we see Stain himself, just the blade. Like if it's anything, and maybe it's just from his back. But
Okay.
other thing I wanted to ask, do you actually think Spinner and Shigaraki are friends? Like actual friends?
I would say they're more like work acquaintances.
That's probably how I feel if you're putting it in the best light. Just kind of bear neutral with one another.
Yeah,
At least from
because
Shigaraki's perspective anyway.
there are a few people who I know from my job that I've like gotten to be like better friends with and that I would maybe hang out with. And like Tyler, for example, I've hung out with Tyler before, but like some of my other coworkers, I'm like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, their relationship doesn't strike me as friends, but Spinner seems to have this inclination that it is, like with the way he talks.
Maybe the friendship is more one-sided.
That's
Like,
that's what I think it is. I absolutely think it's one-sided on Spinner's side. I do not think Shigaraki gives a damn, more or less. Like maybe he'd have like some twinge of sadness if he saw Spinner die, but I don't think he'd care that much.
hey, Shigaraki, over here! Notice me, Shigaraki!
Notice me, boss! Notice me! Oh, I'm dead. Did he
Oh,
notice me yet?
yeah, because we're not at that point yet, but I was slightly confused on what exactly happened to Spinner. Um,
Um, well, maybe we'll get there in a minute here.
okay.
Anyway, he's rushing down the hallway, all blood scale, breaks through. He's like, I'm here. I'm a dancing. Oh, guys, everyone's following me. And there's no one there. Absolutely jack shit.
And then we flash back to Pigman and nameless spider face guy
Oh, not
is.
quite. Not quite yet.
Okay.
We see our good buddy, Present Mike, walking up and shouts out at a Spinner. And maybe this is what you're talking about, where like all of his scales shred off and his body goes back to normal?
Uh,
Or is it later?
right. I misread my notes. You're right, that scene comes first. Did Present Mike yell the quirks out of Spinner?
I don't think so. I think the idea here is that Spinner was reaching his limit with those, and that this was just what pushed him over the edge. His quirks are still there, but it seems like they've been deactivated. I think
Oh,
his body just can't handle the strain of like having them active anymore.
okay, because I thought that body bulk would have been a permanent thing now.
You know, it kind of seemed like it could have been, but I don't think screaming is going to eject the quirks.
Okay, because I could see with the scale quirk, whatever it was called.
Mm-hmm. Scale mail.
It, okay, from the way scale mail was described, it seemed like it could be turned on and off. So
Hmm.
maybe scale mail would deactivate, but body bulk seems to be just like this person's is now a 8 foot tall beefy guy,
Hmm.
and that's his quirk. He's tall and beefy.
Hmm. I get that, and especially the way it was given to him, you just see he immediately gets it activated. That said, we don't actually see that happen. We see like the shadow of him immediately going bulky as soon as All for One gives him the quirk. That said, it's a brand new quirk. Maybe he didn't figure out how to turn it on and off at that point. It just immediately triggered.
But
My personal feelings on this is that you can't just shout a quirk out of existence.
okay. But what I was thinking was, since it's a height and body mass quirk, you
Hmm.
can't turn it off. That would just be like floppy. Okay, I'm going to turn off frog.
I get that. I mean, you also have muscular, who would literally just spawn new muscles out of nothing.
Right.
I have to assume this is quite literally Hulk and Banner. He can turn it on and off. This is if Banner had full control. He can
I
turn Hulk on and off.
I never really thought of it like that. Okay, I could see body bulk being able to be turned on and off that way.
Yeah, yeah. Like I know there is a point in the comics where Banner does have full control over the Hulk, and he can just turn it on and off at some point, or at least the personalities have merged at least.
That's Smart Hulk from the MCU.
Yeah, where I think he can literally just turn it on and off. Um, I feel like it's similar here. Just it's just the one personality in this case.
Mm.
But yeah, we now have the regular old looking spinner, and the recording has been shattered. Not sure why the other thing that we'll talk about later isn't as well, but you know.
Yeah. So Spider Asshole is still an asshole?
Yep, still a dickhead. But the people in the hospital come out and are like, "We fucked up, man. We fucked up. Oh god, it's so bad. We fucked up."
Okay. Now, I had to go back and see something here. The city was still burning during
Yep.
this part of the scene. It
Hmm.
seems that near the end of the scene, when everybody was making amends, the city suddenly stopped being on fire and blue skies and everything.
Man, isn't that nice?
And
Someone forgot.
And maybe because I had to go back and I'm like, okay, through all the smoke and like red from the fire, you could see a bit of blue sky, but I'm just like, suddenly, completely blue sky, no sign of fire. I'm like, what the hell is this symbolic bullshit about?
Could it be? So I'm not sure what timing it is here because we're jumping around time wise, right?
Hmm.
Could it possibly be that this is like sunrise right now and it's getting brighter because the sun is rising, and before it was just really the flames that were bringing around the light?
I would have to go back and double check, but I thought it was the city was on fire from
Oh, it
all.
is. I'm saying that before the sun hadn't fully risen, and therefore the fire is the only thing giving off the light.
I would need to go back and see.
I don't know that you're gonna get a good shot of like literally where the sun is in all this.
No. I meant go back and see last episode if it was
Even then,
nighttime.
I don't
Oh.
know. I don't know that you're gonna see it because we're supposed to be in like an enclosed city street area.
Mm.
You probably wouldn't be able to see the sun, period, just because it needs to get above all the buildings first. I'm simply playing devil's advocate on this one. It could just be simply people were dumb and it's symbolism. And or it's symbolism. One of the two. Or you're jumping around time in this, right? Some of this is clearly after people have settled down.
Mm.
Like as we see some of these people like bowing an apology to Shoji and all that. Like this is clearly a little bit later in time, I think.
Okay. Then maybe it's a time thing. Maybe they had a
Especially
chance.
in this episode, we're bouncing around a lot.
Oh my god, yes. Oh my
There's so
god,
much
yes.
time whiplash.
So maybe it's a time thing. Like, they put out all the fire, and then it's like, hey, we're sorry.
Uh-huh. Yeah, like the heteromorphs were helping them out with like putting out the fires and the damage that was done.
Yeah, so maybe it could be a time thing, but just the way it was laid out,
Oh,
I'm just
yeah,
like,
I can definitely see where your argument's coming from for sure.
yeah.
Like I'm simply trying to play devil's advocate and say that it's not just bullshit symbolism and, and or someone just forgetting what was happening 5 seconds ago. Either that or a different team was working on that set of scenes versus the scenes prior and didn't get the memo that shit should be burning.
Brandon, this is Horikoshi, not Iraqi.
Look, I'm saying team members didn't get the memo, all right. I'm talking more about like that other anime we watched where they were making manga that you had read. Sorry, making anime that you had suggested before.
Ah, ah,
I forget the name of it.
get your hands off of
Oh no, not that one. That was mine. You had one that was from like the 90s.
Kuromi.
That's it. Kuromi.
Animation Yoni Kuromi.
Yep. It's that where one team member didn't get the memo about what was going on.
Okay.
Anyway, cut back to present Mike and Spinner, who is like, for some reason, smoking. Like, he's steaming or something. I don't know. His body's smoking. I don't know if that's the after effect of like body bulk dying or what, but anyway, he's like, you should have thought and blah, blah, blah. And it seems to me that present Mike here is planning to just off Kurogiri. I don't think he's going to off Spinner. I think he's going to off Kurogiri.
Because you see him, like, loading another vocal attack.
Uh-huh. He's loading another vocal attack, and we're going through the whole idea of, like, if you're not our friend anymore, maybe it's best if you just disappear and all this. Which I don't know why he stopped. Because the minute Spinner starts to move, he's just like, what's he gonna do? And just kind of lets it happen. I'm like, for fuck's sake. This one annoys me because I'm like, Present Mike has made the same mistake twice. Quite literally the same mistake twice. Because this is just the same fucking thing that happened when Shigaraki woke up.
Huh? Shigaraki's awake? What's he gonna do now?
It's the exact same fucking problem. You didn't do the thing fast enough.
Yell at Spinner again.
No, he didn't even yell at Spinner. He just stared at Spinner.
No, he should have yelled at Spinner with an attack.
Either one. Either kill Kurogiri or make sure Spinner and everything around him is just gone. Right? I understand to a certain degree offing Spinner now, probably not the best idea considering all the heteromorphs that'll just get re-enraged if they find out. Off Kurogiri. Or at least blast whatever bullshit is around him. Don't just stop and stare and watch the thing happen in front of you.
And why is it Shigaraki's... I want to say that was part of his old costume.
It is.
How
It's
did
like the one hand that was charred or whatever on him.
how did that reawaken Kogiri? I thought it was supposed to be either All For One's voice or Shigaraki's voice.
So there is a little bit there where I believe that there was something installed in the hand by All For One. I think they mentioned it in here at some point.
If they did, I might have missed that. I thought it was just play this recording.
No, there was something in there. I'm like skimming through as we're going through this, so I'll get to that point. And I'll mention it then. But for now, I'm pretty sure it's something that All For One kind of like mentally talks about as the portals are showing up, about how there was a small device in there.
I must have missed that then.
Anyway, Spinner stands up. Clearly, nothing happens. because our good guy present Mike here is just fucking useless apparently. I love present Mike. I love his abilities. I love his fucking quirk. I'm just so mad that he fucks it up every time like this. You had a perfectly good option and you should have just done it. And he didn't. Anyway, hand goes on face. Kurogiri wakes up. Somehow, even though Present Mike does finally release his blast after watching Spinner do some shit and place a hand on his face, apparently that's not enough to stop Kurogiri, especially if his intent was to kill him with that original blast. I don't know why he waited. I don't know if Spinner's body shielded Kurogiri, especially if that original blast was meant to kill. I don't know why it didn't do more damage. You'd think it would have at least done some severe damage to Kurogiri on that attack.
Yeah. Maybe
Even if
he
Spinner was blocking it partly.
maybe he held back because Shirakumo's face did appear there for like a fraction of a second.
I would think that if he hadn't already loaded it in his mouth. Like already loaded the voice attack.
Right.
It was already primed and ready to go. If it wasn't for that, I could maybe see it, but it was primed and ready, and that doesn't seem like something you can just re-swallow.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kurogiri's awake.
I did
Time to
not
go.
expect the second half of this.
Also, if I recall correctly, his body is like that neck brace he has on. Like his actual body is just that. Everything else is kind of like the weird misty cloak shit.
Really?
Yeah, that's from what I recall. I think that's the case.
Huh.
Or maybe that's the piece that's keeping his body together.
I did not expect jumping around to all the villains and absorbing them into warp.
I mean, we kind of did the exact opposite thing with the heroes splitting everyone up.
Right.
Don't see why you couldn't do it that way.
But I guess since there was like no sign of this happening in the trailer, like this just came out of nowhere for me. I'm just like, wait.
Didn't we make a joke about literally what we're seeing just being the first 10 minutes of this?
Yes.
Anyway, cut to America, where apparently weather forecast anchor is like, fuck the government for capitulating to Shigaraki and shit.
She is not having it at all.
Also, other interesting development, they mentioned that the shit that's going on in Japan right now is affecting the weather over in America within, I'm going to say hours. Like 2 or 3 hours. It's already hitting America. Like whatever the fuck is happening in Japan is affecting the weather in America. Jet stream or not, that's fast. That's real fucking fast.
And I think she was in Washington State, so...
Well, I was going to say Coast. That, and the fact that it looks like, based on the backboard there, outside of what I think is Idaho, everywhere is cloudy and stormy on the West Coast and central part of America. Cloudy and or stormy. I think it's literally only, like, Illinois up into the New England area that's sunny. And again, for some reason, Idaho. Everything else is all stormy and cloudy, and they're talking about how like the high heat spikes and shit out of Japan are affecting the weather.
Must be the potatoes. I don't know how. Damn you, Idaho, and your potatoes and your ability to not have bad... I don't know where I'm going with this.
Hold on. I got it wrong. It's not Idaho, it's Wyoming.
Ah.
It is Wyoming. So it's not the potatoes, it's something else. Of what we can see of that map, everywhere but Wyoming. And like Illinois up the northeast. seems all cloudy and shit. I don't know why. Wyoming's a light in the darkness, apparently. Anyway, we see we cut back to our good buddy here. Definitely not undead Dobby.
Zombie Dobby.
Zom Dobby, who is like, oh man, I can't keep fighting with Shoto. My body's not gonna last. But Gunga's too far away to get to my daddy. And then, oh, hey, look, Kurogiri portal. Time to go, guys. We cut back to Deku. Portal behind Eraserhead with apparently present Mike being thrown through as well.
Mm-hmm.
And something else? I can't tell, but there's another little thing that present Mike is looking at, and I can't tell what the fuck it is. Oh, it's the hand. It's the hand.
Mm.
I don't know why that gets thrown through. I'm curious what that's going to do if it gets put on Shigaraki's face again. Because I guarantee that's why it's there. It's going back on his face.
Oh.
I just don't know what that's going to do.
Chekhov's gun. Or like Chekhov's hand in this case.
Uh-huh. Oh, the next question is, we don't see it in this episode at least. However, are there going to be more villains being thrown at where Gigantomachia is being held?
Oh shit, I didn't even think of that.
That's the one place we haven't checked out yet. We don't know what the fuck is going on over there. We got there, I think we got like one small scene over there of fighting going on, and that was it.
Oh.
So the question now becomes, how big is Kurogiri's portal, and can he teleport all of Gigantomachia at once? Because if he can just teleport Gigantomachia from there to wherever Shigaraki or fucking All For One are, shit's gonna get real fast.
I don't know.
All right, yeah, here we go. All right. Here's the line from All For One. Experiences in one's youth determine a person's whole life. Animation. Above all else, I trust people's emotions. The feelings he had for his friend after a dark life. In order to allow Kurogiri with no access to information to act immediately, there is a micro device embedded in Shimura's hand. There is a micro device embedded in the hand.
And that kind of gave a backup message?
That's what it seems like. I don't know if it was just like something that gave shit to the Nomu that is Kurogiri. Like some kind of like inaudible sound or something. Who knows?
Okay.
I don't know. It's some kind of micro device that reactivates him and more or less gives him some idea of what's going on.
So we have Dobby and Toga at Gunga Vila now.
Oh yeah, except now we need to go back and see how the fuck the fucking Toga looks like twice.
Yeah. So
this is a weird ass one. I don't know why we cut to this part and not over to Toga first. I would have definitely put Toga before everyone showing up over at Gunga Village and shit.
Yeah, I would have to see what order the manga does it in, because since I was like kind of tight this week on watching from when we record, I didn't have time to glance at what the manga was like.
Well, even then, right? Like, that would just flow better. Even if you were to just rearrange it, it would flow better. Like, we cut from Kurogiri awakening and saying he's going to help and shit, to Toga doing her thing, and then everyone popping up over at Gunga Village.
I think it's Gunga Villa.
Either way.
Okay.
Showing up at Gunga. Right? That, to me, that seems like it flows better than the way they did this, where they're cutting back and forth of like, well, 10 minutes earlier, well, 5 minutes later, oh, and then 15 minutes before that. You're jumping around way too much here, and the flow of this is just better the other way.
Yeah, like this episode was a little bit jonky just to like follow everything around.
Uh-huh. And maybe if you were like, if we weren't watching this one week to week, if we were binging like this set of episodes, maybe it would flow better. But watching it week to week, this is very like herky jerky.
Hmm.
Anyway, we get some bullshit exposition from All for One about, oh man, Toga's animosity and shit and blah blah blah.
I did find it interesting how she had fake blood on her that was actually like a Nomu tractor.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting bait and switch.
Because Floppy got some on her tongue as she
Uh-huh.
tried to like whack it
Well,
out of Toga's hand.
the only problem I have with that, right, is like she would have Toga would have had to have waited to a point where she knows it would have been Froppy attacking her with the tongue for this plan to work out the way she thinks it will. She would have had to have set that up perfectly for that to happen. Or just had the perfect opportunity for it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, that whole plan could have gone sideways and not worked out.
Do you think she always has the No More Tractor on her so that she
Well,
could bait and switch for another hero?
so the way she talks about it, it sounds like it's one of those things that was given to her before this fight.
Mm.
She says All for One is the one that gave it to her. So I'm assuming this was something that was in preparation for the fight coming here. Anyway, they're more or less getting Toga. Victims are getting captured. Villains are getting captured. Toga's running out of people splashing around to use as a way to hide herself. Only to then, do the whole blood thing like you were talking about. Do the bait and switch. Turn into Froppy for a second for some reason. Not quite
Why?
sure what that was about. That seems a little strange.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the same time, it's almost like she saved Tsuyu, too.
Eh?
Like she's holding her above the water for some reason. Like while looking like her.
Eh? I don't know.
And then sucks down the Sad Man's parade blood. And oh, hey, look, Kurogiri's here now. So here's the next question, right? Do you think... How long do you think those portals are open? Because are the heroes going to start pouring through behind the villains?
I don't know.
Because we know that Uraraka's like chasing down after Toga.
Toga, we didn't have a chance to talk about romance yet. And then twice Toga's like, yeah, I'm sorry that we didn't.
I wish we could have. And it's like, girl, there was a chance and you just jumped and made assumptions right away. I'm a little miffed that we didn't get more of the combat that was going on over there because I would have been more curious to see, but I guess it was just more of what we already saw. Anyway,
Do you
yeah.
think there is any chance? And I know like final battles coming up, Toga may die, but do you think there is any chance for Toga to be redeemed?
So that was. Let's cover the preview here for a second because I think there's something to talk about here.
I forgot to watch the preview.
Okay, so there's a little bit here right at the start that I kind of missed out on, which is literally Ochiko coming through the portal.
Oh!
So okay, yeah, I must have blinked during this. Yeah, she does show up there. She is there. And so's Froppy.
Huh?
They both came through. It looks like to me Ochiko was coming right in after her, and Froppy must have grabbed onto her leg with her tongue and came through with her.
Oh!
That's what it looks like. Actually, I lie. Not her tongue, not her leg, but the other arm.
Oh.
But yep, we're coming in. We're getting a big old sad man parade fight. Something is going on with the second. I don't know what. But the second is talking to Deku. And we see a little bit of Shigaraki being all like, shit's going weird. I like weird.
Huh.
But the part I specifically wanted to mention, right, is come on, stop Like, I'm trying to get this to pause right where I want it to. What is the title of the next episode? Here we go. No, is that it? No. I swear that the title was called something else. It's the title of the next episode is The Chain Thus Far. Oh no, here it is. There's a dialogue from Deku that literally his literal words, at least according to this sub, is yesterday's villain is today's hero. Who is making the switch?
Oh.
Because someone is going to flip sides, is what that line is telling me.
Oh.
The question is it going to be Toga? Because right now, I don't think that's possible. Because from what we do gather from this, she has 30 to 40 minutes worth of Sadman's parade. And I don't think Toga's going to swap in the next episode because it would literally change everything right back. It would completely convert what's going on. Now, that being said, she does, considering Ochiko and Froppy are falling through, seems like a possibility. I don't know what's going on with Shigaraki because we don't get a lot there. It's basically just a little bit of back and forth chatter, and then the second being there talking to Deku.
Yeah, I would not have any guess on who is going to switch.
It ain't gonna be Dabi. That dude's got one fucking thing he wants to do. Oh, also, since Dabi went through the portal, how much you want to bet? Because of what we saw in the intro, Ingenium and Shoto are gonna fly through the portal too, chasing after Dabi.
I'll say yes, and it will be in a more surprising way because they didn't allude to it happening in the.
It would have to happen pretty early considering the portals are closing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Could it be Stain? Could this be where Stain shows up?
Oh. Maybe.
There's no inkling that he's going to be here, but he could very well be. We have no idea where the fuck he is.
Huh.
I'm leaning towards Stain. Any bets from you, or you got nothing?
I don't. Mm, I'm not going to say. Oh, okay, I'm going to go with you and say maybe Stain will show up.
Not gonna fight me on this. Okay, I got it.
I I I want some points too.
I mean, do you get points if we're both right?
I mean, maybe.
Or are you just canceling out my ability to get points?
Now, when you say it that way, it makes me sound like an asshole.
I don't know. Maybe that's what you're going for. I don't know.
I mean, I wasn't doing it outright, but now, because, like, I did it because I couldn't think of anybody.
Look, you say that, you have to take a step out at some point, because otherwise this point throne is still going to be here by the end of this. And yours is still going to be, like, barely held together.
I don't know.
You have a point stool over there.
Yeah.
And I have a throne. And you just making sure I don't get any more isn't going to change that.
You know what?
Hey, look, if you wanna, superimpose and stop me, go ahead. That's fine. I'm just saying things won't change then, that's all.
You know what? I'm just going to just say, who was that, like, gentleman thief guy?
God damn it, what was his name? He was just called Gentle, wasn't he?
Yeah. And was he a full-on villain or not?
I don't think he was a full-on villain. Like, he was more like one of those, I'm a villain for fun kind of guys.
Okay, because I'm just wondering, like, what is the chance of him? Because now that it's like all these like major villains, and since he was a villain for fun, he's like, hey, I don't want the world to end. I don't want like All for One to rule. So, what's the chance of him popping up again and like helping?
My thought would be unlikely, especially without any pre-establishment for it. It would literally be a Deus Ex Machina kind of thing.
Oh,
Stain, at least we have the setup that he's escaped. We have no idea about those two, Gentle and his female compatriot,
hmm,
his girl, as one might say.
yeah, okay, like.
Yeah, I'm definitely calling Stain.
Yeah, we'll just see how right you are on the next episode of Boku no Hero Academia, reviewed by us.
I'm sorry that you have to put up with us.
I but you're not sorry that you keep taking all the points. You're probably right. It's probably a stain.
Look, just because I know how stories work.
And my guess of not really anybody. I don't know. You know what? Fuck it. No. Fuck it.
Go ahead. Go.
It's gonna be Gentle. He'll show up in some Deus Ex Machina and like do something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know at this
Okay.
point.
All right. Look, who knows? Maybe we're both right. Maybe Stain has gathered Gentle and his girlfriend, and they're all three there. Who knows?
Will if all three of them show up, will we get equal points, or will our points cancel?
I think we both get equal points. Yes.
Okay.
If they're all there, we were all three right.
Okay.
Or all two right.
And I hope I didn't damage myself pulling it out of my ass that far.
I mean, you might want to check. It might be bleeding. Just look down between your legs. You'll find out.
We'll catch everybody next week.